Hello world, welcome to the journalist chat today. Today we have a very special guest and those who are joining with us from different part of the world. We have a guest who are really doing something amazing and outstanding work and they have amazing and wonderful contributions through their own professions. So please welcome to our guest tonight. Hello, hi, how are you?
Hi, Sudha. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. So what about Jahid Arman? How are you?
Uh, I'm good and staying safe. I hope you both are good also and all are safe from
Yeah.
the
If I ask you one of the questions, this is
COVID-19
very
pandemic.
yes. The basic is like we know that after the China, the COVID-19 hit in Italy and then USA. So right now you are living in the USA. What are the current situations there? If you please precisely share with us.
Uh, I live in Illinois, United States. The whole situation in the United States currently, like 17 lakh people infected and almost 1 lakh people died. So the situation of Illinois is much better than New York and Michigan and New Jersey. But the most important thing is that we are recovering now. Like I can give you an statistics from yesterday. Yesterday there are 505 people are died and almost 20,000 people infected. So the statistics shows it's getting better than the previous situation.
Hmm.
And in most of the US, there are in some states there are still now stay-home orders from the government, and in Illinois we have also a stay-home order situation, and we need to stay at home. And all kind of like groceries are open and restaurants are open, but the regular businesses is closed. And where I live in southern Illinois, there are like 50 uh, there are a very small Bangladeshi community of 50 people, and we are all safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most of the Bangladeshi people, I mean, because there is a, we heard that there is a, even we found from the different news, a few of the our Bangladeshi citizens, those who are living there, and few of the people died there. So I think this is a very horrible situations, and I think it is very. We are very happy to heard that like you are fine. So Ika, what are the present conditions of the Indonesia? Though I mean Indonesia, I mean it's not that much in the hit list. What are the present conditions there?
Yeah, Indonesia reported the first case in the early March, and until now, we have more than 20,000 positive case in of COVID-19, and the number of days reached more than 1,000, I think, until this now. And yeah, only some zone due to the lockdown. You know, Indonesia have more than uh, five sorry 500 region. So we have a very big island and countries. Yeah, and yeah, Indonesia is very difficult to give a discipline protocol to preventing from the COVID-19 infection. But after 3 months, the Indonesian president have um, the plan to open some retail and some flight and maybe for tourism, especially in Bali, maybe. Yeah, it be can worthy condition to all the people now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so every country are facing the same problem because the COVID-19 are
Yeah.
not discriminating any of the country. And so I think today the audience will enjoy because we know that during the time of COVID-19 and there's a lot of misinformations and there's a
Hmm.
lot of rumor and which is spread around the world. So, Jahid Arman, I know you as a faculty and you had, I mean, you did the journalism in Bangladesh. So, what a journalist doesn't do, and which is really a fact checker do?
Okay, but fact checking and journalism is almost they do the almost same job. Like they both are doing like kind of collecting evidences, writing the report, and then publish it is the almost same. But there are some differences between the fact checker's work and a journalist work. So the main difference is that fact checkers need to do research. So this is the main differences that a fact checker need to do researches on what he or she is collecting, and also fact checking is kind of time consuming process. You need to wait for all kind of evidences. Like as an example, I can give you an example from Bangladesh. There was a fake news in Bangladesh like 1 year ago that Sheikh Hasina or Khaleda Zia becomes the next Asia's Mandela. So the
Mm.
news is based on an Australian professor who said the Sheikh Hasina might be the next Asia's Mandela. So this is a fake news by a Bangladeshi news outlet. And we contacted with the professor, and he said, "No, I never did any research on Bangladesh, and I never did any kind of comment to Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina." So the news spreading on social media and legitimate news outlet is totally fake. So the process we went on, this is a time consuming process. We need to email him and we need to wait for his response. So it's a time consuming process, I think, also a research work. And another thing is that journalists write what they heard about politicians, like Sheikh Hasina said, or the minister said, or the opposition party leader said, something like that. But fact checkers need to check the fact first. They need to check what he is saying. So this is the main differences. And also there are differences in writing style. Like in traditional journalism, they start with an intro, then news body, then conclusion. But fact checkers need to, their writing style is a little bit different. They first mention what is the claim and how the claim is spread on social media or online or anywhere. And then they need to write the fact check reports, what they found based on their evidences. And then they need to present all the evidences. And then they need to mention all the sources. And finally, the decision, what is their decision. So I think this is the main differences between journalist works and fact checking kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
So Ika, if I ask you, like, you as a journalist and you work for your national news media, and then right now you are working as a fact checker. So what basic difference you feel and during covering the same things and the same content in your country?
Okay, I think the basis for fact checking is also journalism, but sometimes we don't use a traditional journalism method such as interviews and reportage to the file. But sometimes we use many online tools and research to give mark of claim. It's like about a photo or video, we must answer about behind the photo or video, when exactly it happened, what event, and whether it was edited or not. We must be able to answer all of it. Not all journalists can do it, so it's really need special training to do this. In addition, we also have to examine every statement of authority of or public figure or conspiracy theories that spread and could mislead the public.
Yeah. So, if I ask you, Jahid Arman, so every journalist they have their own ethical ground and they have their specific agenda. I mean, there's a lot of ethical, ethical rules for the journalist. So, as a fact checker, when you do any kind of fact checking, any kind of fact or figure outing the fact, what things you all the time keep you in your mind? And do you think the fact checker, and when before the discussion when we was talking about, like, if you think the Snowden, Julian Assange, if they are the fact checker, but it's still there is a debate of a lot of things, and there's a lot of controversy. So in this moment, how people basically accept the fact checker or their their documents in between where like the local media or the mainstream journalism where they are spreading that news. So how people and the audience will what is the acceptance of the audience?
To my own view, I don't tell them as a journalist or fact checker because, uh, like journalists, fact checkers have some rules and regulations. There are more than hundreds of fact checking organizations throughout the whole world, and they need to maintain some basic things. Is that there must be an independent organization, there must be non-partisan, and there must be a registered organization of the country where they are working, and also they need to mention their funding things, how they collect the money and how they use it, and they are very transparent of all these methodological stuffs and how they work and who are working on that. So I think in this criteria, Edward Snowden and Julian Assange are not fact checker and also not journalist. They just bring some information to the public. So we don't call them, basically me, I don't call them fact checker or journalist because they don't set in the criteria of the fact checkers. They never publishes a written report. They just bring up some information
Yeah,
to
they
the
publish
public,
the document.
and
They
a
publish
lot
the
of people,
document.
they, yeah, it's a kind of public documents they bring it up. So it's not a fact checking kind of stuffs.
Yeah, and if I ask you, like, so when you're talking about the your when you're talking about the project, because if I think about the fact checker, BD fact checker is a project, and there is somebody, and there is a organizations who are funding to the BD fact checker. So when somebody are funding the donor, so they have their own intentions, they have their own agenda. So in this, in these circumstances, how you can say this is an independent organization and you are non-partisan? And there is a question even before, I was starting and talking to a lot of journalists in Bangladesh. So basically, they are the send me the just one of the questions they requested to ask you, like, the most of the people, people think that the BD fact checker, and why they are only checking the fact of the government, not the anti-government. Not the another opposite party.
I think the people who are thinking that we are anti-governmental fact checker is totally wrong, because we did a lot of fact checks against of the opposition party, like Tariq Rahman give lecture to the Oxford University, this is a fake news, or kind of Khaldazia will be the next Asia's Mandela is kind of fake news. And also there are a lot of fake news we covered in last 3 years. If you check our website, you can find a lot of fake news against the opposition party and against the government. The main thing is that uh, currently the government, the Awami League government, Awami League is in the power, and we find more evidences or more fact check requests to do against the government, not the government, but the against the misinformation or kind of stuffs.
Yeah, I think that's very good to use the word, not the government, against the misinformation. Yeah.
Mm. And also your another question is that if anyone give us money, and how we can be an independent. So in our website, we are very transparent about collecting fundings from the donor organizations or from the public, that they can give us money, but uh, they will not do anything in our reporting process or in our fact-checking process. So the people or organizations who are giving us funding, they are sure that they will not do anything in our whole process. They're just helping us. So
Yeah.
that's why we are independent and we are non-partisan, because we don't have any kind of political ideology of, uh, we don't believe any kind of political ideologies in my country. And we are not any member of any political party of Bangladesh. We are totally independent and we are non-partisan
Mm.
and non-governmental organization.
Yeah. No, I think this is really important. Like the people need to know that, like because when people are talking about the fact checker and people talking about the fact checking, because people try to more rely on to get, I mean, the proper information from the people, those who are working as a fact checkers or their website. So Ika, if I ask you, like when mainstream media sometimes when even everywhere, because sometimes I saw the lot of content which is really figure outing the fact on the content which published in the mainstream media. So how it's challenge for a fact checker when you are checking the fact of one of the content which already published in the mainstream media.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the advantages is um, mass media in Indonesia have strong credibility, so the public have give big trust to our fact checking article, and this is an important model for our fact checker to work and debunk all the misinformation is from public or from the official like that. So we have um, no have a big a challenge to how in my work, but sometimes the challenge is how to collaborate with uh, a lot of journalists in our newsroom because not all the journalists have the perspective how to give uh, important fact or the relevant statement, especially in the pandemic situation, because sometimes any journalist that publish a misleading statement from official and then yeah fact checkers must to debunk the mislead official like that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
especially
Mr.
yeah.
Jahid Arman, if you have any comment on that, because recently we saw that in your Facebook page, and there was a few of the news which is
Yeah.
published in the mainstream media, but you just
Mm.
pulled and try to check the fact. So what is the basic challenge? I mean, when you were working and checking the fact which already published in the mainstream media.
Yeah, I think it's challengeable because they are traditional and legitimate media in my country and all over the world. They have some legitimate and traditional news outlets, and people respect those organizations. Okay, but currently, especially in the age of social media, media organizations try to receive more reactions from the people, from the audiences. Even in Western world, this kind of news is called clickbait journalism. The suppose in the body, the news style is everything is correct, but they give a misleading headline to their news. Uh, the reason behind that, they do it for receiving more reactions from the audiences. As you know, the more reactions means more money from the YouTube, from the Facebook, and from the Google. You know that. So it's very hard. Sometimes we find emails and phone calls from the organizations that we are changing the headline. Sometimes they change the headline after reading the fact check report, and some people are reacting with this kind of organizations, that how we can believe these organizations because they are legitimate organizations. So it's I think is very harmful for the society.
Yeah, and we have a Raihan Liu, and who is working for one of the popular investigations programs and investigation 360 degree. He's doing the mainstream journalism in the ground. So welcome, Raihan. Hi, how are you?
Hello, this is Ryan, and welcome everyone.
Okay, I
Thank
think
you for having
can
me because
can you
I'm
please
just back a few
can
years.
you Raihan, can you please check your sound? Can you please check your sound?
Okay,
I mean there is some echo, so
okay.
if you please,
Um,
uh, hello.
so you don't hear it?
Yes, but there's a noise. But there's a noise.
Okay, fine. I'm
Uh,
trying to better.
I think it's better you can check your sound. I think it's better you can check your sound, and we'll go to the Mr. Jahid Arman. So when the rumor already spread in the already when the rumor already spread in the social media through the Facebook, and like the millions of receivers they received, and after that when you check the fact, and basically how the fact checking and how your work really helps to tackle the rumors, because when it's already people hands to hand and people already receive it, and because the most of the most of the work you are usually do and it's published in your Facebook, and but how it's work. But in the meantime recently you know that like Facebook funded 2 million US dollar to the the international organizations, and they're really working with a lot of organizations. But in the meantime, people also accuse the Facebook to spreading the rumor, because Facebook knows which is real information, which is not. So, and what about your perception on that?
I think it's really difficult for big tech companies like Facebook, Google, and some other companies. Like Facebook and Google, they don't understand, most of the time, they don't understand the perspective of the hate speech on social media, and they don't know what kind of information it is because it's in Bengali. And they have like artificial intelligence and social bots uh, to find out such kind of rumors. But Bengali and some other languages, they don't fit with their social bot and artificial intelligence. So they are really problem in such kind of things. And you said Facebook is funding a lot of money to the fact checkers, and it's true they are trying to helping fact checkers all over the world. In Bangladesh, like BD Fact Check, we are working last 3 years, but we don't have registration in Bangladesh. We tried to get registered as a non-profit, as a media outlet in Bangladesh, but we didn't find it in last 3 years. But we are now a registered organization in the United States, but we worked in Bangladesh. They're giving money to fact checkers, so they have some criteria of giving such kind of or receiving such kind of donations. Number one, there must be an organized and registered organization in the country where they are working, and secondly, it must be the member of IFCN or
Yeah,
International Fact Checking Network. So
network.
we are not a member of IFCN, and we don't have a registration in Bangladesh. That's why we didn't receive the fund. But otherwise, the most of the organizations of the world, they are doing a great job of uh, debunking fake news on social media. Suppose you are a third party fact checker, and if you find any kind of misinformation on Facebook, then they send it to the Facebook authority that, hi, this is the fake news which is spreading on social on Facebook. You can stop it. And then the Facebook authority, they stop the news. Is a kind of is a you might be you have seen some kind of stuff, such kind of things, false or fake things by third party fact checker. So easily they can stop the spreading of the fake news. But it
Yeah,
still is, but it still is difficult to find out the real rumors.
yeah. And Ika, what about your
They don't
perceptions
have
on
the
it? Yeah, what about your perceptions on it? Because we know that like the fact checker and most
hello.
of the fact checking. Yes, I'm hearing you. Yes. So most of the fact checking is you are doing the virtual
Yeah.
fact checking. Suppose something happened in any of the country in the ground, and but in the meantime it's that is spread and that's rumor, that's misinformation instantly spread everywhere, and there's a huge devastations on that. So in these circumstances, what is the impact of the fact checking, and what about your perceptions to the rumor tackling?
Yeah,
In
it's
this
been a
case,
dilemma
okay.
for us because my media is also Facebook third party, and we are also a member of international fact checking network. So Indonesia have big users of Facebook, and the a lot of misinformation is spread in Facebook. So very important for us to collaborate with Facebook to tackle misinformation together. And then Facebook provide a special dashboard who canalize all the misinformation in every day. So it's a very can help fact checker like me to work every day. And then from this collaboration we can to stop the spread misinformation in Facebook and Instagram. So my media uh, is also to receive the fund from Facebook because we need to buy a lot of fact checker to debunk many misinformation in Facebook. Yeah, it's very dilemma, I think.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, we yeah, but yeah, we can guarantee if our newsroom is very independently from Facebook intervention.
yeah. So I think we can try again. So Mr. Raihan, hello, hello Raihan, are you hearing me?
Hello, do you hear me? Yeah, I'm hearing.
Uh,
But hello,
I
hello,
think
hello.
I yes, I'm here. We are
There is
hearing you,
noise.
but
Noise
in
in
the
there.
meantime, yes, I mean the
Okay.
noise
Yeah.
is yes, yes, we are not able to hear the voice, properly. Okay, but you can
Hello,
please
hello.
share about yeah, I know. Yes, yes, we are hearing you, and can you hello, hello,
Hello,
Rahan,
hello.
are you
This
hearing
is
me?
Daniel, and I'm hearing. Hello. Yeah, yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay, so can you
This
please
is Shuja, I'm hearing you.
yes, yes. So can you please share with us about like how you were talking about the fact checking and how you work with the work inside the ground and basically how you cross check your fact because you are a investigative journalist and how you cross check your fact, Mr. Rahan.
Okay. So first of all, hello, 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 Mr. Shuja.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Yes, yes. Can you please answer?
So hello everyone, this is Ryan. So I'm hearing you all the fact-finding things and hello Jordan, Ryan, hello. So what's the question you asked me, Shuja? Please say again.
So basically, Raihan, still there's a problem of the sound, so I think the audience are not able to listening. And can you please try again? Uh, so, Mr. Jahid Arman and Ika. So basically, how
Yes.
we are talking about like fact checking and also the remote tackling. And in the meantime, we know that during the time of COVID-19, there's a lot of misinformations. There's a lot of things. So first of all, how people, I mean, how the when the people died on COVID-19, and how they will be buried, and what medicine they need to take, and what about the symptoms, and what about the major things they have to be, I mean, they have to be conscious. So I mean, most of the time the information is gradually changing, so people are confused. So in the meantime, I know, like, right now, Ika, if you answer, you are working with the COVID-19, working with the, I mean, international fact check organization. So how basically you are working?
Yeah, our Ministry of Communication note that misinformation has been to 100 of 1,400 cases. Some of them go viral and are distributed thousand to ten of thousand of time. But we were only able to handle around uh, 200 misinformation because we have limited number of fact checker, and the time required could not be as fast as the misinformation spread. Yeah. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, misinformation about health issue usually took second place after political hoaxes. But since the end of January, misinformation about health issue has dominated. Tempo has handled around 200 misinformation from January to May. Of course, this number is smaller than the actual distribution of um, misinformation. Of course, we are working harder and faster while maintaining accuracy.
Yeah. Jahidamar, Mr. Jahidamar, I'll back to you. We are trying to struggling the one of the field reporters. So just Mr. Raihan, hello.
Hello, Chuja, and everyone. Do you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you,
Hello?
but still there is a noise, and still
Okay, so I'm changing my headphones and others, but this is still any kind of problem here, I think.
oh,
So,
I think thank you for trying and joining, and I think we'll just try to bring you on board again. So I think we are sorry,
okay.
just yeah, and then thank you for struggling to join. Yeah, I think so. I think
So this is
yeah,
ridiculous,
please.
but I think it's yeah. So,
Okay.
hello everyone. Hi, Javed Bhai and others. So, are you hearing me? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Hearing anyone? Okay,
Yeah, but there's a
so this
noise.
is Raihan. Oh, nice. Okay,
Still,
fine.
there
But
are
I'm
still
trying
noise.
to. Okay,
Uh,
so
Ran by. Okay, no problem. So I think, yeah, Jahid Arman, and if you please answer, like, what we are talking about even during the time of COVID-19, and also the other issues when checking the fact, but it's already sprayed and in the ground, and in this moment, actually, like, what are the major steps you are right now thinking about to go to the audience and to receive and also ensure the more participants through the fact checking? And this number one question. Number two is, and how you choose fact checking as a profession, and how the Bangladeshi journalist can choose fact checking as a profession, even during the time of a lot of crisis, complexity, lot of matters. Please.
Okay, so if I give the question of the first one, uh, we have a website, and first I want to tell you how we collect the rumors. So during the COVID-19, we have checked like more than hundreds of rumors, and all are in our Facebook pages and also in our Facebook community group. So audiences help us a lot to find out the rumors. Like every day we are receiving now 50 to 60 fact check requests that, hey, I saw this in our Facebook page, in Facebook page or in this group. can you please check this? It is fake or true. So we received a lot of fact check requests from our audiences in our Facebook page and also in our Facebook community group. That will help us to figure it out what kind of fakes we need to check it out. And also we always check Facebook Scout Tangle. It's a really helpful tool to find out the rumors throughout the Facebook. It says you what are the rumors in last 2 hours, or what are the overperforming posts in 3 hours in Bangladesh. So it's really helpful. And when we check any fake things, or when we publish fact check report, we publish it to our website, and we publish it to our Facebook page, and we have also a Twitter account, and we give it to the Twitter account as well. So there are a lot of ways to publish our fact check reports, so that will help us to reach more people. As you know, we are a um, very small organization, and we don't have too much workers or journalists to work with. And currently, we are struggling of this kind of stuff for to spread more people, as we need to do the Facebook boosting or such kind of stuff.
Hey,
And your second question is about taking fact checking as a profession. I think it's a very interesting. I think Ika can tell uh, more things about that, because she is a professional fact checker. Uh, I think it's a very interesting job. Fact checking also is there is not too much money, but if you love fact checking, you can do that job. So that's my suggestion. If you don't love it, you don't do that.
yeah, I think everyone really need to do whatever they love, and because this is the most important
Yes.
to do. I mean, passion is
Hmm.
important. So Ika, if I ask you, like, you as a journalist, and right now you are doing fact checking as a profession, so I mean, what things really motivate you, and what was your worst and best experience, and to be a fact checker in your I mean, in your life?
Ah, it's very difficult question. The first because um, my boss gave me a task for handle this new job, and I think uh, fact checking is very new thing in Indonesia. Uh, the program is start in 2 years ago during the Indonesian election. So the some journalist organization in Indonesia built a training for some journalists like me to give a new skill about how to fact checking about all the claim. It's like a photo, video, or about the claim statement and that. Yeah, I think it's a very new experience for me, and it's very important for this new era. So uh, I received the new job. I'm very happy for to do that until now, because I know not all journalists have uh, uh, sorry, have skill like me. So I want to give the best of for my journal.
Ika, I'll back to you. I'll back to you, and and we'll join the Rahan Ferdos. So, and I think Jahid Armans need to go. So, if you have
Yeah.
any message to the world, please can you say, and then I think you can leave just after your space. Jahid Arman.
Yeah, I think we need more fact checkers to the world to bring to the real truth to the world, and to debunk fake things on social media and all other stuffs. So that's my message to the world and to the journalists, that what we are publishing, we need to fact check of those information, whether it is true or false. And thank you for inviting me here, and thank you all.
Yeah, I think it's really amazing. So we are trying to gonna join the
Thank you.
we are gonna join the Mr. Raihan and Raihan bhai. Hi.
Hi. Do you hear me again or some noise in there?
Yeah, I mean
Again, noise in there?
I don't know what's the problem in technicality.
But I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Right now the sound is a little bit clear. So yes,
I don't know,
I
but
think Ika, if you, yeah, I think Ika, if
okay.
you muted your
So,
mic, so I think it's better.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so we can listen. So Raihan, and as a Raihan is working as an investigative journalist for a long time. So Raihan, how you basically check the fact, how you check the fact, and how you do the investigation.
okay.
To share with the process.
Okay. So, hello everyone, and assalamualaikum. So, in your, according to your question, the thing is in Bangladesh and fact checking. So, the current fact checking system in our investigative program is this is a online checking, but before the situation is this the offline fact checking. So the running thing is there. First side, we are collecting the papers under some clues, and then we are reality checking there how the truth or how the information from the papers are true or false. So on online, on some image from Google reverse image, as like or as we are checking their clues, we are checking their informations, we are checking their levels, we are checking their any kind of might be going on to the criminal or crime. So this is the first we are checking about this. The second thing is we are collecting some kind of people those are relating on this situation. So we are fact checking two type of mode in Bangladesh, online mode and offline mode, and we are collecting information from both side. Hello,
Yes,
Shujan, do you hear me?
yes. We are completely hearing you. So those, yeah, please.
So, so the online checking is more like is it from the Google or other websites? This is called as image or kind of any other things is, but the offline fact checking is most important from our side because we are currently not all kind of digitally so overhead. So we are kind of fact checking. Hello.
Yeah, Rahan bhai. Yes, we are understanding that. So yes, thank you. Though still there is there's a problem of the noise, and still you are trying to clear the sound. No problems. You can be here. So Ika, if you if Ika, if you please answer, I have a question for you. So when we are talking about like the fact checking, he was talking about the online fact checking and physical fact checking. How basically when we are talking about the journalist, the gatekeeping, so why, why the mainstream media and why the journalists are not able to basically checking the clear fact, and what are fact checker doing, and what is the basic lackings in this profession? Because you was a journalist, and in the meantime, right now you are a fact checker. And the, if I added like who are the stakeholder, who are the audience of your of your project of the fact checker? You are basically reporting or providing the information to whom?
Yeah, thank you. Uh, yeah, I think a lot of online tool that we can use to verify the fact about the video or a photo, and the skill need to special training because um, the traditional journalists only only have a skill how to write, how to writing, how to report it, how to receive, but not all journalists have a skill to able to use the online tool. Yeah, this is some basic skill that the fact checker must have. So the training is a very important to journalists who want to be a fact checker. But the skill traditional journalists and also fact checker must combine to completing the skill. So this is a very be to reach our perspective and our method to debunk something claims.
Yeah, I think this is very interesting, like the
Yeah,
misinformations and there's a rumor. So in the meantime, the people, those who are really working in the as a frontliners, even during the time of COVID-19, and
yeah,
they're figuring the fact from the ground, but it's still yet. I mean, when people are talking about there's a need of the fact checker, suppose there is a media agency, but in the meantime, that organizations are hired the fact checker. So people usually think that fact checking is kind of more virtual work, more technological work, but it's still there is a. I mean, there's a. I mean, we are try to listen to Raihan. I think he can give the. Proper understanding from the ground. So Raihan, can you try you again?
Okay, fine. So in our media and Bangladeshi media, there's a lot of researcher in there. So when any kind of investigation is running, working in there, so one reporter is searching in this information in online, the other people is going to the offline mode to taking their tools and other things, such as in COVID-19 pandemic, always creating pandemics, such as a lot of new medicine, a lot of new thing, a lot of countries name to in for creating this virus. So this is an issue. So anything to do. So when some of online portal giving an issue and or either taken, so there is no source to be highlighted in there. But other thing is they're highlighted in social of that this is create a frightened mode. So this is a horrible thing. So a fact checker and a reporter might be solely interested in their brain to the what is the main truth upcoming on the stage on the title, so that people are think, oh, this is the main thing. There are any
Yeah.
kind of remedy, there are not any kind of remedy in there. So Trump is saying awareness. So this is a
Uh,
bullshit.
yeah.
Or and kind of thing is there. So in
Yeah.
our
Thank
country,
you,
there
Raihan.
are two type of things. Yeah. Okay, fine.
Yeah, Ika,
Hello.
if I share with you like what I'm precisely understand from the Raihan. So basically, in the Facebook, so people are in South Asia, like people are living in a Facebook, So and the most of the time they try to post, and the most of the time they try to viral. So sometimes the Facebook make the headline of the mainstream media. So in these circumstances, even during the time of COVID-19, when Facebook are influencing and dominating to, the citizen journalist, the journalists, from the ground, the source, and when they are posting their fact, they're posting their stories in the Facebook, when it is really dominating to the mainstream to make the headline. So in this moment, and how a fact checker can really work and really find out the real fact, because everyone in the ground, nobody knows the exact fact. Yeah, Raihan, I'll basically just try to listen from the Ika, then we'll back to you. Yeah.
Um, Yeah. I think because um, we are independent fact checker, so I think we can debunk all the misleading statement from uh, other source, including from the media, mainstream media, or the from the authority, and from the fake scientist or fake doctor like that. So we we have a big responsibility to give a right information about COVID-19, because I know that infodemic just only not from the ordinary people, but this it can from the official and authority resource. So um, we need the independent fact checker to debunk all the statements.
Yeah, I think it's really amazing, and thanks both of you for joining in the show. And Raihan, if you have any message to the world precisely within a 2 or 3 lines, so can you please? I think later on we'll arrange another show for you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and please check in YouTube or to find the main truth, and uh, not to any kind of thing that you will be praising your scholar book. So
Yeah, yeah. I think so. Ika, what about your message about the social media literacy and to the journalists? You as a fact checker, what journalists can might do more? Ika.
Yeah, journalists have a big responsibility to give a right information and right fact check. So journalists must doing the job to give and debunk all the infodemic who can be public confused for the situation. Yeah, I think the journalists must be in the frontline work to the public, and we must give how the public give trust with journalist work. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and I feel like the organization you're working with, like international fact check organizations, I think it's also be very good. And
Yeah.
if that organizations it aligns with the local and the national investigative team, national investigative organizations, or the journalists to work and the collaborative
Yeah.
work, I think that will be. I mean, so there is like the if in between the bridge, so and because still there's a lackings of like how the one preparations are doing with another's, but in the meantime, because Jahid Arman was talking about off the record, one of his colleague was right now shifting a job because of he's engaged with other preparations. So I think this is important, and thank you very much for your wonderful time. And Raihan, you struggled a
Thank
lot to
you.
join, and I think definitely we were excited to listen to you, but no problem, we'll bring you again. And thank you both of you, and bye bye for tonight. So
Bye
the audience,
bye.
we believe that during the time of lockdown, the creativity education is not lockdown. Before posting anything, please check, and I think it is very important to check what is you are posting in the social media. So I think people, the journalists who are frontliners, they are working hard, and definitely we'll try to bring them the guests from the other another country, and we will do the another amazing show which is demand on you, and we will try to ensure you participant. Bye bye for tonight, and I will come with again. Don't miss the show. It is yours. Bye bye.